and this has to do with the Central Medical Stores that was ravaged completely by fire. And the latest, and I'm picking this one from myjoyonline.com, and I'm reading it now. One more top official of the Ghana Health Service has been interdicted following the damning reports on the Central Medical Stores fire in Tema. Joy News sources say the latest casualty is the program manager of the malaria control program, Dr. Constance Baplanche. The sources say she has been asked to step aside for investigations to continue after it was found that malaria drugs were also missing from the stores before the fire. The Bureau of National the Bureau of National Investigation, okay, on Monday picked up 10 persons for questioning in connection with a 4-day-long ravaging fire at the national drug stores. So although the names of all 10 top officials of the Ghana Health Service are yet to be made official, Joy News has learned of names such as the Director of Procurement and Supply of the Ministry of Health, Samuel Boateng, Director of Supply Stores and Drug Management of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kwesi Adai Donko, and Head of the Stores at the Central Medical Stores, Abdul Karim Idrisu. The facility was consumed by fire last week, destroying medical supplies and equipment worth over 230 million Ghana cedis. What I want to ask is, the way that this is unfolding, because some of the newspapers are also reporting, and I'll pull that newspaper out briefly, about a report so that this incident shouldn't have even happened in the first place if the recommendations were followed through after that report.
And
you know, it's interesting. I think the sad thing is these things tend to come out only after,
that's the point I'm trying.
You know, a tragedy.
We are a nation of reactivists. We rather react rather than being proactive. We are so much reactive when it comes to dealing with issues. But when we talk of proactivity, we are completely missing there as a nation. You just alluded to a report that actually came up before that, and maybe if they had gone through the report and maybe try to implement some recommendations per what the report says, we might have, we would have maybe as a nation averted some of these negative acts and all that. First of all, I would like to say clearly that fires may be a force majeure or maybe an act of God, maybe an accident, kind of. Thunder can cause electricity to cause fire, that is an act of God. Negligence, maybe connections and all that, or bad electrical connections can cause fire and all that. That is of course also an accident that maybe is not foreseen or is as a result of negligence and all that. However, the aftermath of the fire at the central stores, medical central stores, is appalling and is pathetic, and in fact it's painful to hear as a Ghanaian. First of all, imagine medicine worth 237 million Ghana cedis and not a single insurance is on it. That is bad. Very, very bad. Juxtapose that against a common driver who gets up from his house with his license and gets a small car to say, let me go get my daily bread. Maybe unknowing to him or unknown to him as a spare driver, okay, the insurance cover on the vehicle is dead, or is expired, I should say. Policeman meets him and say, look, you are arrested for not having insurance. The man is held the whole day, car impounded, and he goes through hell because his third-party insurance is not working. A whole facility, government institution, is sitting there holding about 237 million Ghana cedis. There's a medical director to that effect, or to that institution. There are a lot of officers to that particular institution, and no insurance, and nobody is being questioned. It's a serious matter. Two, we have a warehouse seated there containing drugs that are supposed to be supplied to us as Ghanaians through our hospitals or our regional hospitals and all that. And security there is questionable. Because we are told that someone set fire close to the warehouse somewhere and thinking that or thought that maybe by which time the fire will go off, maybe at the point in time, because we are in Hamilton, she doesn't know or he doesn't know how the fire got to the warehouse. This is negligence at its highest order. If someone indeed said that they saw someone setting fire close to the facility, and this is purportedly one of the causes of the fire, then I think someone was negligent somewhere. Was there security around? Was there anyone to take care of the place? And all that. 4 or 3, we are told that a doctor is supposed to have been interdicted, and that some drugs were missing before the fires and all that. Did we have this information before, or we had the information after the fire? It's a problem. If we had the information, what did we do? You see, we are a joking nation. Honestly speaking, we are a joking nation.
What do you mean when you say we are a joking nation?
We are a joking nation.
When we put people in charge of a facility, we put people in charge, we expect them to work.
Very well.
I mean, you don't expect, I mean, what could we have done?
Mama V, let me give you a clear example here. You happen to be the boss on this set, assuming. You employ myself and Agbenyo to come sit here and do a particular task. You have employed us. You are the appointer. We are expected to come out with results. In the course of delivering, you are supposed to monitor to see if the instructions given us is exactly what we are doing or not. Are you not supposed to do that? Supervision. So the question is, who put the officer there in the first place? The one who put him there, is there any proper supervision on that officer? Is there a routine report received to appreciate the level of job being done?
But that does not justify you in saying that we're a joking nation.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we ordinary persons couldn't have gone to supervise.
You see, I had a friend who made an argument that the instigate and the instigator, who is to blame if there is any negative outcome. Then I said, no, it's the instigate. Then he said, no, it's the instigator. In the first place, the instigator is the one who created an environment for the instigate to be there. So you the appointer, brought me here. I, as an appointee, I have my remit. My remit is to do X, Y, Z. Now, if I go or do anything fall short of that, I'm supposed to be questioned or queried. If I go beyond that, I'm supposed to be queried. That is why I say the supervision is so imperative in anything we're doing, especially governance. Me, when I heard of the central stores, you know what I posited? I said, look, the Minister of Health must resign.
How does he resign?
An advanced
How does he resign?
Why? You are supposed to superintend over everybody down the line. Receive reports. What is happening? Where's the insurance for this? Where is this? Question them. And now we are coming out. A lot of stories coming out. We are told there's a director in charge of malaria programs or whatever. That person is interdicted. So you mean the Minister of Health didn't know the malaria drugs were missing? How did this come out? So I'm saying that, look, it is not politics here I'm doing. But truth is that we as politicians superintend over some of these things. And we have civil servants and public servants under us. Are we watching them closely? Are we giving them the right room to operate? Have we polarized down the line, the chain? Because someone was there and was so competent, today I come because there's change of government, I want to put my man there to come and handle it. You see, all these things...
Is that what you suspect?
No, I am saying
happening?
that. No, I'm making a general statement. It could be MPP, it could be NDC, it could be PNC. But I'm saying that this winner-takes-all syndrome is killing us. Let us not take away competency in dealing or managing this country.
Okay.
And my point here is that it stems on supervision, it stems of laxity of approach to public assets and public facilities. We don't do that. Okay, now who is the one in the driver's seat? Let's blame him. Minister of Health, wherever you are, you should actually have your head rolling. I heard the president saying one thing when he went to visit them. The president said, look, after the investigation, whether the investigation establishes arson or not, whoever is supposed to take charge of that facility and did not, I, as president, I think questions must be answered. Okay. That's what the president said. And I support it strongly. Right.
Let me just, Fred, before you come in, let me just read the story in the Finder newspaper. This one is on page 2, titled Tema Fire Shocker. It says it has been established that the fire that gutted the Central Medical Stores in Tema could have been avoided if officials in charge had implemented fire protection strategies recommended by experts. Wow. It goes on to say that a report dated April 14, 2014, and prepared by Prior Technics Limited, a fire protection company, and addressed to the Director General of Central Medical Stores, disclosed several fire protection lapses. What is strange, the paper is saying, is that even though the Central Medical Stores requested for the fire protection assessment, which was conducted by the technical manager of the company, Mr. E.A. Nyako, far-reaching recommendations were never implemented for 8 months, leading to the disaster that has caused the nation $237 million.
Mama, who wants to ensure that?
Fred.
Well, I think that it's quite a...
And these details are only coming out because of what happened. We wouldn't have known.
Negligence.
Well, I think it's a sad story. Some of the things that we could avoid as a people, why do we sit back and allow them to happen to us? But if the reportage, what they just read is nothing to go by. Far back in April of last year, they themselves have seen the need to get an expert to come and advise them as to how they can prevent any such issues from happening. My understanding is that this is not the first time fire has gotten that particular facility. And so one would have expected that the necessary mechanisms are put in place to prevent from happening. I am surprised as to why that expert advice was not implemented, or the necessary things that they were supposed to provide for the place was not provided.
Apologies, would you be surprised if it was because of lack of funds? That's why they couldn't carry through the recommendations?
Well, at this point, I think we can also leave out the conjectures. Yeah, we can leave it for now, since investigations are going on. But we want to know why they couldn't implement that particular recommendation. And it is worrying. You see, I say every day that where we have gotten to today, by the grace of God, technology is so advanced. Some of these things, really, we can avert them. Today, as we speak, we have, fireproof systems and what have you. This is an important installation. Drugs we are talking about here, the health of the people. Everybody's life depends solely on this. So supposing we didn't have drugs in our regional storages and hospitals, what will happen to us when we know the procurement system that we are supposed to go through in this country? Most of these drugs to come from abroad, how long it will take for them to be shipped down and all that. So we're going to be in a very serious difficulty. Unfortunately, we sat back and allowed this to happen. I agree largely with my brother when he says that people must be compelled to account for their stewardship. When people are put in positions of trust, they are being paid, they are being taken care of, it is only because we think that they can do something that will save all of us. So if they refuse to do their work as expected of them, they should not just be allowed to go scot-free. People must be made to pay for it. People must be punished to serve as a deterrent for others who may be in similar positions. So on that note, if the investigation is over and it comes out clearly that somebody was negligent, somebody didn't do his work very well, I think that the fellow should be punished so that we can avert them of these things. But Mavi, I am becoming a bit worried about the rate of fires we are having in the country for some time now. I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but it's becoming problematic. Very, very important state installations and institutions. You wake up every morning and you hear there's fire outbreak, lives are going, properties are going, and I don't know what is happening. How come it has become a recent phenomena? Yes, we have always had fire outbreaks, but I think that the rate at which we are experiencing it in recent time is becoming quite alarming.
What has happened to the reports, the investigations that were carried out, the market fires? Where's the report? Where are the recommendations?
Well, I think that apart from you people in the media telling us, the Ghana Fire Service, it is not for nothing, because one of the things I do know is the fact that they didn't have enough resources to be able to fight the fire tenders and what have you. As we speak today, I know we've equipped them so much. We have bought a lot of fire tenders for them. I remember when the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the former Ministry of Foreign Affairs building was gutted in fire. The people got there on time, but the only difficulty is that they didn't have a fire tender that could go beyond a particular floor. So they stood and watched.
You're talking about our reaction when it happens, but how about the cause of it, so that we can prevent it if we can?
That is the point I'm making, that it's becoming, they have done a lot of, anytime there's a fire outbreak, a committee is set up to investigate. They're supposed to come up with recommendations. They're supposed to tell us the cause of this fire, so we can put measures in place not to have it occurring again. But unfortunately, as to if the situations are not the same, and that is why it occurs again, it's again something
I can tell you that the markets, there's no big difference. In fact, In some instances, there's no difference at all, because one of the issues, and this is not tackling the problem, but when it occurs, the fire service will always tell you that it was difficult for us to get access to the place. They always say this. It was difficult for us to get access to the place, and it is still the same.
You see,
sorry.
When you go to a market like Kaneshie Market was well planned and built.
How many of them do we have?
If you go to Kaneshie Market, we have pathway for this fire service vehicle to be able to move in. We have what they call it, the water hydrants over there that on event of any such problems, they can quickly use to put the fire out. The rest of our markets are not like that. So the truth is that several years now, we have not consciously planned our markets. Recently, I remember when they built this market around Circle over here, when they move our women from somewhere around conference, the National Theatre area, where they have built those big houses now. Jadvo Kimbu School, used to be a big market over there. Yeah. They moved them to this shopping mall that was built here, the shop here around Circle. The airport told us, well, the space is not big enough. People will not come in there and come and buy, so they'll prefer to leave the place over there and can be selling by the roadside. You see, if you're a country or a group of people that is afraid to implement your laws because one of political reasons, you fear that when you implement the law strictly, it will make you unpopular, people will not vote for you, this is what you're going to have. They are very discerning members of our society who think that we must implement our laws. Once we have made the laws and we think that those laws will be in our interest, those laws at the end of the day will benefit us, I think that we should be able to master that courage, irrespective of how some people will say it, irrespective of the political challenges that the election challenge may pose to us. How many times have we not heard?
Is the NDC ready to do that?
How many times have we not heard?
That's your party, so you can speak for it.
I'm speaking this way, but I'm a national officer.
You see,
so any day the
issue, and Kamal, you are also in this. You tell us what we are supposed to do. You are all quick in telling us the right thing. But we don't see you do it because you have got the power.
You see, the point is that, yes, we tell you what they're supposed to do. We are in a democracy. You need to carry the people along. You need to let the people appreciate why this must be done. If you get up and go and say, well, this is good, let me just do it, without letting the people appreciate why you have to do that, they'll turn up against
Absolutely.
you. So your good intention may turn out to be evil or bad. I remember those where they were moving people from Accra, the city center, people selling by the roadside, forcing pedestrians to also move to the roads where vehicles are supposed to use. So that when they are driving around Accra, it takes a lot of hours and all that. Several mayors from Ajay Blancy and the rest, they all tried. But just before elections, everybody gives up, everybody come back on the street. We are unable to enforce it strictly. And it's creating problems. Most of these are markets. It's not as if we don't know what to do. We know some of the markets, we are supposed to close them down completely. We are supposed to demolish them completely. We are supposed to relocate on the market to the outskirts.
But you don't have the guts to do that because you're thinking elections. Come on, you want to make
I think that, yes, my brother is taking the whole day anyway. It's important.
No. It was his time.
But I'm uncomfortable with it. When we are making your submission, just start here quiet. Anytime I'm talking, we are too much in hurry to get on board.
No, just
all right. Let me. You see, it's important we don't draw so much politics when it comes to.
And that is what you politicians tell us.
No, I know, but I say I'm trying to make a point here. We sit here. And like your concern being, what are we supposed to do to avert, or what are we supposed to do to prevent some of these, negative acts, as in fires and all that? You asked the question. We brought in specialists or experts to investigate what causes fires around our market. Today, as we said, report was delivered. We don't even know the content of the report. We don't know if there's going to be a government policy in place to give us a government policy in place to tell us that there's some adequate preparedness or preparation towards prevention of fire. We are not told that. And again, all we said to say is that we have equipped or resourced fire service so well. And after saying that, we then say again that except to say that when they get to where to quench the fire or to fight the fire, there are some facilities that they need or equipment they need, they don't have it. So where is this equipment so well anyway? We are told not too long ago that the fire service itself don't even have money as we sit as a nation now. And it's a fact, bare fact, hard fact, that they don't even have money to buy fuel for their fire tenders and vehicles. As we sit now, and I'm not saying it, it is the chairman of the council who was speaking, Ahmadu Surgo, says that look, they don't even have money, that they're shy. If they see fire service vehicle passing through a filling station, sometimes they stop them to ask them of them. He said it. And if we sit here and we say
where did he say that?
Oh no, he said it was on air. It was in the media all over. My brother is a government communicator, I'm sure. And that's why I mentioned his name. Clearly, you can find out. If we sit here as a nation, please.
Yeah, don't worry,
if we sit here to aver or to argue that yes, we have resource fire service, we have done this, when we all know for a fact that yes, in the course of even trying to resource fire service, we had to bring in uniforms with used condoms in it. For fire, yes, we imported uniforms. For fire service, we use condoms. Use condoms, in fact.
Where do you see that?
Oh, no, these are facts in the media. We all know. He's aware. He's privy to it. I'm speaking to facts and evidences. You understand?
But
this is how we have resolved them.
But it's also a fact that
today,
we've got more fire tenders now.
Yes, we have got. I'm not saying we don't have more. When you buy a vehicle, Mama V, you drive, I drive. Walking to a garage to buy a vehicle, I have prepared and planned myself that yes, indeed, I'm supposed to buy fuel to fuel that vehicle. You don't buy a vehicle when you don't have money to buy fuel. So where is the resource? The argument that we have resource fire service. When you can't even buy fuel, as we sit now, ask all the fire tenders whether they have money to buy fuel. No fire service.
They were able to go to Tema to fight the fire.
Listen to what happened at Tema. When they got to Tema, when the fire was ongoing, blazing seriously, the blame was either no hydrant from Ghana Water, no water from Ghana Water, because the hydrants there were empty. Or the fire tender that got there did not actually have the capability of drawing the water. Hold on, you could see fire service blaming Ghana Water Company, and Ghana Water Company also blaming fire service, and all that. This back and forth there, even at Tema Central, when they're fighting the fire. So I'm saying that this argument that we have a resource fire service, we have done this, it is a clear fact, and it has been shut down by the chairman of the Council of Fire Service. That yes, indeed, we don't even have money to buy for, and we are shy when we see our vehicles going out there and then being stopped to ask for monies that they owe filling stations and all that. It's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about is government policy towards prevention. Whether NDC, MPP, what is our policy towards prevention? And I'm happy.
Can we have a national policy instead of a government policy?
Yes, sir. I'm happy Fred mentioned that the onus lies on us to educate the people. You see, the onus lies on us to tell the people that X, Y, Z, when done, poses us to danger of fire. Dangers of fire.
Then when you tell us, then what?
What we tell you, we put in place laws. That's why I say policy.
Look, like we follow through the laws.
Today, as we said, there is a law which says that this particular institution, that environment that we are in, this particular environment is supposed to be certificated by fire service. I don't know whether your fire service certified.
We do.
Absolutely. So most of this, let's ask ourselves, do we have fire certificates for most of government institutions? Do you have fire certificate for most of filling stations?
That one,
do you have people trained?
No, that one, do you need us to agree with you?
No, we need.
Because if you if you have a law and we, the private people, have to follow through, how much more you?
No, we are supposed to be the law enforcers. So when I set up law as a policy, I need to have people to go around and enforce, just like we have the police service. Constitutionally, Ghana police service is supposed to enforce laws.
How come? You gave a beautiful scenario before about the policeman and the driver.
Sure.
How come you're able to enforce it when it has to do with private persons?
And public,
but when it's public institutions, you know, where the law is coming from, Fred, then it's almost like impossible for you to carry out those same checks on them.
Before the medical stores got banned, we heard in the news that 21,000 pieces of meters, prepaid meters, imported into the country by ECG, got banned in Ashanti region. And again, same story. All these 21,000 pieces worth about $2.6 million were not insured. Again, security at that warehouse was also questionable.
That is the problem. Fred, I want your take on this one.
Yes.
I'm saying that, why is it so easy for the laws to be carried out when it has to do with ordinary persons? Just like the scenario he set up. The trotro driver or the private driver and the policeman, because his insurance has expired, he will check on it and question him and arrest him if it's possible. How about government institutions?
You don't have the balls to deal with government.
I think that
It's a shame. Government vehicles are not even insured.
I think that
And no fuel for them.
we have always behaved that everything that belongs to the state is for nobody. So that
Who is
nobody
behaving like that? It is you, the politicians.
Nobody. You see, as long as you sit in a chair like this, and everything's about you, the politicians, we are going to fail as a state. We are not going to get anywhere.
But there are some things that we can't do.
It is not
you
for,
have to carry it out. It's
we
not
have
us.
always said the media is the fourth estate of the realm.
But
you have
we
a
cannot
role-
insure
Mama,
those
can I
vehicles
make
that you
some small
drive.
progress?
You have to do
no,
it yourself.
No, Mama V, you have a role to play in our governance. All citizens of this country has a role to play in governance. As long as the rest of the state sit back and say that the less than 100 or the less of 1,000 politicians in this country are the people who must do everything, we are going to fail. You have a role and a responsibility to hold the politician accountable. You have a role and a responsibility to use this big medium you have to insist
How far
that
can we
state,
go?
State vehicles,
How far
state
can we go,
institutions.
Fred?
You think
How
you are
long
not
have we
powerful?
not been talking
You
about
think you
this?
are not powerful?
What can we do?
You
We
see-
can talk about, you can force a horse to go to the riverside, they
To
say,
drink water is a
but you
problem.
cannot force it to drink if it doesn't want to.
The point I'm making is that that is the way we have always behaved. It's not as if it's a recent phenomenon. Everything that belongs to the state, either two people could join even STC bars, where they are buying there, they hide and not pay and they will enter. People are using state things anyhow. When you talk, you have the same member of society who tell you, you are too low. Is it your property? Is it not for all of us? That is the mentality. That is the attitude. I am saying that it all boils down to education. And you are the best place to lead that crusade. That we can't say that because it's for the state, nobody cares. If, like I said, a taxi driver, a tractor driver, his vehicle could be impounded or seized for the whole day because it doesn't have an insurance, what are we doing to state institutions?
It's serious.
What are we doing to state properties? Do we sit back and watch? Do we just, let's keep on talking. Let's draw attention. These are things that when ordinary Ghanaian civil society organization organize a demonstration about, Fred will join them in that demonstration. It's about Ghana. It's just a thing
For
that,
real.
I'm telling you, if you wake up and say that we are leading a crusade, we are leading a
Fuel
demonstration,
prices, I'm going to
within
demonstrate.
that,
Come and join me.
within that, we must do this thing for ourselves.
You would join in that
That all state
demonstration.
institutions
You will join,
must
but
have
that's
fire
gonna be swell.
certificates. They must have fire assessments. All of us will join if the state is reluctant to do it. I get worried when I read in the papers, we hear in the media, the number of state institutions that are owing, for instance, ECG. ECG
serious.
is struggling
It's serious.
because majority of the people who are owing them the huge amount of money come from the state itself.
I agree.
I get worried when I hear Guel is in debt. Who is owing Guel is the state.
State coupons. Yeah.
Because people think that it's the state, so let me use it anyhow.
I agree.
They mess it up. The private people who are driving state vehicles, when they put fuel in the vehicle, they go to their houses, go and put a rubber and siphon the fuel from the vehicle and go and park the vehicle in the office. And go and sell that same vehicle, fuel to either a taxi driver or a tractor driver at a reduced price.
And come get
These
it.
are the things that we do to ourselves as the people. These are the things. So as long as we think that it's just a small group of people out there we call a politician, I am not saying that they should not be held accountable. The pastor of the politician, you are in charge, you are the policy maker, you are taking the decisions, the resources are in your hands, you are supposed to do this, but we have a watchman who is watching over the watchman. And that is the media, and that is the civil society. We all
Well,
have
Mama
a
V,
major
I've made this
role to
me-
play.
let me-
Go to UK. When you go to UK today, you and I, all of us sitting here, Fred is concerned about people milking the nation. I'm concerned about it. When I go to UK, because the system there is sanitized and it's working effectively, there you drink a water from sachet and then throw the sachet on the streets of UK. You can do that because there's a policy in place monitored keenly by government. But we go to have all the fine laws in the books, beautiful laws. I'm telling you, when you look at the laws of Ghana, volumes of them. I have so many volumes in the house. And all these laws are sitting in the books, but yet we act or behave contrary to those laws. And nobody is talking about it. Nobody is talking about it.
I want to
So-
be a quick
We'll get there.
intervention,
So-
a quick
we'll get there.
intervention on this
We'll do
particular
our last
issue.
issue.
You see, I have followed, for instance, and I'm sorry if it comes across if I'm picking on the media, there's something that's happened in this country I've observed over a number of time. People build in waterways, so to speak, where water is supposed to flow through. People have put up structures. You have situations where AMAs and other bodies come to say, move your properties from here, don't put up this building over here. They give them the warning, the notice, time without number. The day the AMA moves in there with their bulldozer, that is when your cameras also move in there. Then you see the women crying, wailing. See how human beings.
Well, you don't want us to report on issues.
I would have expected.
We're doing our job.
The point what I would have expected people to be doing, the time they were asking them to leave the place, the time they were putting on the houses, and they go there to write, stop work, this is the road, this, don't do that.
We report on all those things
do we give them the same mileage? Do we give them, the people get to know that these people were asked not to put their buildings over here? Everybody sit back on consent.
No, we don't.
When now they are trying to enforce the right thing, that is when everybody goes there, a woman carry a baby in the armpit, everybody is crying, everybody is saying, we are human beings, all of us have that feeling. You can't treat human beings like that.
So what are you
saying?
We
when
the demolitions are carried out because the people are illegal, we shouldn't report their side of the story?
Me, Fred Agbenyo, if I'm in charge of any such operations, I will not even allow the media to come close.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Wow.
When I'm going to do such things, I am saying that if me for that, can you allow me to? I don't like the way this guy is behaving this one. Only I'm talking, I keep quiet and listen to you.
No.
Why are you behaving like that?
No, it's fine. But he's quiet now. Let's build on that. You're saying that if you're the person in charge of a demolition exercise, you are not allowed.
If, for instance, people have built on the waterway somewhere, people are selling in the street. They're not supposed to sell in the street. I've spent 3 months educating them, informing the general public, informing the media where these people are sitting is not right. It's not in the interest of this country. Please let them move. Help us let them move. For 3 months they are not listening. The day I go to carry out that operation, nobody gets to know about it.
Where's the democracy?
I remember
that's a very radical move.
It is not a radical move.
Why would you be restricting us on what we should report on?
I remember Accra Circle here. When one I forgot, I said Mankwa, they call him, used to be a circle here. If there was no place in Ghana, maybe apart from Bema Camp, the military installations that were neat and you go there, there's orderliness. Circle was one of such examples. When Amankwa was here, who dare you to just go and run through that green grass? Who dare you to go and walk around Circle? One man, he stood there, he made sure the right thing was done. There was no unnecessary traffic in Circle because people moving anyhow. People were shown where to move. There was some orderliness. Should we say because we are in a democracy, which becomes so indisciplined, everybody is doing what they like, nobody cares? In the name of democracy.
Amazing.
I'm a bit surprised.
But we have